So, here we are. In this final part of our series on the Master Key System, we're going to close that gap. You know the one. The gap between knowing all these incredible ideas and actually living the results.
Okay, so here's what we're going to cover. We'll start by tackling that common frustration of learning a lot but changing very little. Then, we'll boil the entire system down to its essence and break down the daily practice step by step. We'll see how it all works in real life, give you a simple first step you can take today, and finally, we'll talk about what comes next on the journey.
All right, let's kick things off by talking about a feeling I think we've all had after reading books or going through courses. That feeling of being full of information but still stuck.
You know the feeling, right? We gather endless information, we get excited about new ideas, but then we look around and our daily reality is pretty much the same. Why is that? Well, it's because information alone is not transformation.
So if just learning more isn't the answer, what is? What's the real engine at the heart of Hanel's system? Well, it's not about consuming more. It's about applying one single, powerful principle.
See, Hanel's master key isn't some big secret he's hiding. It's really a system for developing your own mental power. It all comes down to one core understanding. Your thought is the cause, and your experience, that's the effect.
And this right here, this is the whole game. The entire system is about making this one fundamental shift, moving from that left column, where you're just passively consuming ideas, over to the right column, where you're actively practicing one idea until it becomes who you are. It's the shift from knowing to being.
Okay, so that's the what. Now let's get into the practical how. This daily method we're about to walk through, this is the engine that actually turns that principle into a real, tangible practice.
You can really think of this process as a blueprint for turning your mind into a kind of mental workshop. You start by quieting all that scattered noise, and then you systematically move to a place of focused, creative power. It's a very deliberate process.
So, okay, that's the theory. But how does this century-old practice actually apply to modern life? I mean, does it still hold up? Let's take a look at 3 really common areas where it absolutely does.
Let's start with work. Imagine you have a huge project and the natural thing to do is focus on the stress, right? The deadlines, the pressure. Well, with this practice, you flip that. You consistently hold the mental image of its successful completion, and that vision starts to guide your daily actions with a lot more clarity and purpose.
Or how about in our relationships? We've all been there, replaying a misunderstanding over and over in our heads. This practice is about stopping that mental loop. Instead, you consciously visualize a state of harmony and understanding. And what's amazing is that it actually changes how you show up in your next interaction.
And this is where Hanel's work connects so perfectly with modern behavioral science. You don't just use willpower to stop a bad habit. Instead, you focus on being the person who already embodies the good one. You're building an identity. And each day you practice, you're casting a small, consistent vote for the person you want to become.
And look, this isn't some new idea. It goes way back. Will Durant summed up Aristotle's philosophy perfectly. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence isn't an act, it's a habit. It's the consistent practice, not the occasional burst of effort, that truly creates who we are.
Okay, to pull all of this out of the theoretical and make it totally real for you, here is one small thing you can do the very moment this is over. So first, just choose one small constructive quality you want to experience today. Maybe it's calm focus, maybe it's patience. Then for just a few minutes, sit quietly and gently return your focus to that idea whenever your mind wanders. And listen, the goal here is not perfection. The goal is simply the act of practicing. Every time you bring your mind back, that's a rep. You're building a mental muscle.
So as we wrap up not just this explainer, but our whole journey through the Master Key system, let's just pull all the essentials together one last time.
So here it is, the big picture. The problem we started with is that information alone doesn't change us. The core principle of the system is that your focused thought is the creative cause of your experience. The practice is that simple daily method of stillness and visualization. And the proof? Well, the proof is that this practice is how you build identity-based habits that lead to real, meaningful change.
Thank you so much for joining me for this entire series. The real work and the real adventure begins now with the small, daily choices you make. So the final question is, what truth will you practice today? And hey, if you found this series valuable, we are about to begin our next exploration of another classic text, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss it. And of course, you can find the complete playlist for the Master Key System series linked right down in the description.